Hello and welcome to Robin Mind. My name is Hero Daniels. Many thanks for joining us. There is a new viral word in town, allegedly. Across social media platforms, on blogs, even sometimes mainstream media, everyone is using the word allegedly. If I were to earn $1 for every single time I hear or read allegedly, I'll probably be richer than Elon Musk because I will definitely be a billionaire. But the big question now is, when people use the word allegedly, do they genuinely mean it, or are they just using it as a safety net to avoid legal implications? And that leads me to what we're discussing today, which is the allegedly culture hiding behind a word. And to discuss this, I have legal practitioners in the studio. I'm going to start with introducing Victory Isehohime, a lawyer. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Also, I have joining us Giwa Oluwatosin, who is also a lawyer.
Thank you.
Welcome, Tosin.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's dive straight into it. I'm going to start with Victory. In what contexts should people use allegedly and it's okay?
Okay, so the word allegedly actually means that a statement is not is made without proven facts, or that is made without unverifiable facts. And it used to be used in the days where social media was not this rampant, by newscasters and media houses, to imply that, to mean that they've not verified the source of their information. But these days, people just post things, and whether they believe in the truth or they do not believe it, whether with malice or not with malice, they use the word allegedly. Allegedly is not a legal word. It is an ordinary English word. It doesn't carry any legal implication or legal defense as such, as the way people see it.
Okay, so we're going to get into the legal side of using allegedly, whether it protects you or not. But Tosin, the same question. When is it okay to use allegedly?
When is it okay
Yes.
to use allegedly? The counsel stated, the word allegedly is an English word. Has no legal connotation, has no legal benefit, has no legal backing. So the word allegedly can be used anytime by anybody. However, legacy media, due to the fact that they might have shortage of time to verify facts, usually use words like allegedly, reportedly, to show that these words, even though they are asserting at that point in time, they are not proven or not yet proven. So there is really no there is no rule, there's no strict rule as regards when to use it or when not to use it. It is simply an English word.
Okay, so let me give you a context now. If I say with due respect that you are MAD, you're mad, right? And I put allegedly, and I also say you actually took some huge sum of money from your company allegedly. Does that save me from legal implications? So if you decide to sue me in courts, am I safe for using the word allegedly?
I think the first thing we'd have to look at is what exactly are the ingredients of defamation itself. When we go to the word defamation, it talks about, first of all, a false statement as regards an individual, and then second of all, goes about the fact that you've caused harm or damage to the reputation of an individual. So once an individual perceives that these two things has happened, and also you can also add that this was done with malice. The once an individual perceives this has happened, he or she can go to the court or whatsoever institution to seek redress. It is another ball game whether we have a defense, as it were, but a person who feels that his reputation has been damaged and then false statement has been published against him can go to the court.
Okay, so Victor, I'm going to take it up from there. He has already stated the sort of conditions in order to say, okay, this is defamation or not. However, you know that on social media now, a lot of blogs use the word allegedly once they hear of an unconfirmed or an unverified news, they just post it and use the word allegedly. In fact, right now, we even have a new industry on social media where people can just set their cameras and say anything they want to say. So for those blogs and for those individuals that do these things and use the word allegedly, what is the implication for them if somebody should decide to take it up in court?
They get their money ready, because a person can claim damages worth up to millions of naira against them. You owe, despite that, you have the constitutional right to freedom of speech. You owe the duty to your neighbor to not to make speeches, not to make statements in a way that damages or impugns their reputation. When you breach this responsibility to your neighbor, you can land yourself in an action in defamation, and you can land yourself in prison. Defamation now has a criminal ambit as well as a civil ambit. So I would advise that you verify your information before publishing it. Verify, take time, check the source of your information, verify that it is true, verify that it is not coming from a malicious person who wants to damage the reputation of another person.
Okay, so in our society, everything sometimes does not necessarily go well. So it means that sometimes there's certain social issues that are evident to everybody. Now, if somebody decides to come online and speak about those issues, especially for influencers and public figures, and they put it in such a way that it seems like he or she has sensationalized it, yeah? How is that individual going to be protected? Bearing in mind that whatever issue he or she is speaking to is something that truly exists. But the way he or she had put it, it seems like you're targeting the individual. Let's say a public official. You want to take that, Tosin?
Okay. For influencers who tend to come online, immediately there is a news or things like that to gain, to amass, influence over a particular space. One major thing they should bear in mind is this: whenever I'm putting or publishing, whether speaking or writing, the first thing that I have to put in mind is, do I have my facts right? Is it true? I mean, the facts I have, are they true? Because if my facts are not true, then that means the first defense to defamation is out of it. Of course, there are other defense, and then is it that does those defense avail them? For instance, we have, aside the defense of justification, that's the truth, we have the defense of fair comment. Does the defense of fair comment avail them? Of course, fair comment talks about giving a fact or expressing an opinion, though it must be based on a fact that is true. So if we are expressing your opinion, you must also be sure that you're expressing an opinion based on a fact that is true. Else, the defense of fair comment will also not avail such an individual. Of course, there are other defense also that the influencer might want to avail him or herself, but I think I would say you consult a legal practitioner for more.
Okay. All right. I hear you. Victory. There was this challenge that has been, going on, especially amongst young people on TikTok. 30 days rant challenge. Young people are taking to TikTok to, speak against how the country is going. The thing with a lot of young people is when they're passionate and they're talking about something, you're speaking about the state of the country. We know that the prices of fuel is not back to normal. We know that power is an issue. We know that good road networks are an issue. However, you know that young people, when they're passionate and when they're speaking, it's almost as if they speak with absolutely no respect, according to some older ones. In such a situation whereby a young person is truly speaking the truth, which is things are not going so great as they would want it to. However, the young person now adds, a direct attack on maybe a public official. How would that young person be protected, or what should that young person do to avoid any legal implication?
The first thing I would say is verify that the information you are publishing is correct. Secondly, for matters of public interest, like you mentioned, the 30 days rant challenge, it is based on public interest, based on matters that concerns the whole populace, the whole Nigerians. You can make comments in such instances, but also do it with reasonability, such that when a suit is instituted against the person who made that comment, would a judge hold that that statement was based on malice? Can you prove or show that there was an malice in that statement? If the statement was not made maliciously, if it was made just by a commenter who is tired or who is not okay with the situation of things, then I do not think that it would.
So I don't just want
land
us
a
to have
person in a suit.
ambiguous. I don't want this conversation to just be very ambiguous. We need to make sure that the end consumer, the viewers, will be able to understand. So let me paint a scenario. So at what point would you say somebody has crossed the line? So if I am ranting about the epileptic power situation of the country, and I go ahead and I call a particular public official FOOL, right? I targeted the official and I said, oh, you're occupying this office and you're not able to do this, so because of that, I think you are FOOL. Is that a direct attack?
I wouldn't say that is a direct attack, but I am also not a judge. It would be left for the judge to determine. But in my view, I do not think that that is a direct attack. There is the defense of fair comments for a specific reason. People are usually not satisfied with government officials' performance. And that is why that defense avails a person in a suit as such, in a defamation suit. So when a person makes statements like that out of unsatisfactory performance of a public official, the statement cannot be held against the person. But
we've seen
you have
cases,
to also be reasonable.
No, we've seen cases where a lot of Nigerians are being arrested for speaking out. So what would you have to say about that? In fact, we've even had cases where even a lawyer has been arrested. I'm sure you know about the Delhi situation. Yes, what do you have to say about that, Tosin?
First thing, the law is not, the law is not emotional. That's why the court is called the court of evidence. So when it comes to legal matters, it's as regards evidence. Defamation, for one, is a very factual. It's actually a thought, and it's a very factual thought. Each cases differ from one another. Every case, they have different facts. So the applicability differs also. We have freedom of expression, freedom of speech.
Do we? Do we really have freedom of expression?
It is guaranteed by
in this country?
Yes, it's
guaranteed by
the Constitution.
The Constitution. But however, it is not absolute. Yes, that public order. I noticed that public order would actually, in some instances, qualify your freedom of expression. So when it comes to defamation, when an individual feels aggrieved, such an individual by right can approach the court. But if the accused person or the defendant also is sure that he or she has done the right thing, that means such a person has a defense. I think one of the major ones we are actually on today now is the defense of fair comment. That is, I can express my opinion. In fact, fair comment even allows the commentator to exaggerate a little bit, or exaggerate, in as much as the commentator is sure that he or she is relying on a fact that exists and is true. So once you know you have a fact that exists and is true, you can express your opinion and rely on the defense of fair comment. I wouldn't want to I wouldn't want to mention individual cases now.
Why exactly don't you want to mention individual cases?
Like I said every matter in defamation cases is factual. It depends on the facts. You would have to look at the facts of each case. What was said, the exact statement that was said. Was it published? How was it published?
So are you trying to tell me that all of the cases of the people that have been arrested for saying something against somebody in power, that they were all legitimate?
First of all, when it comes to defamation, defamation is a civil and a criminal it has both civil and a criminal arm to it. For instance, in Lagos, for instance, we do not have criminal arm because Lagos and I believe Edo State has. They passed this law reform bill whereby the defamation is now a completely civil case. For instance, in Lagos, so you can't get one arrested in Lagos for defamation. However, in other cases like Ekiti and others, I think criminal, the criminal aspect is still alive. You understand? So anyone in those states, including Lagos, I believe, like we said, you have the fundamental human right of expression, but it is qualified. So the social media has given us this right to express to millions. So you understand? That's why it's more like a publishing. It's giving us the right to express our views to millions of people. So we have to also ensure that when we are expressing these views, we are in tandem with what the law says. People should educate themselves as regards the defenses they have. And number one is that the use of the word allegedly is not a shield. It is not a defense. There are other defense. Number one defense, as we said, is the truth. Or better still, statement of the truth in favor of public benefits, in favor of public benefits. That's the first shield. And then we have other shield like fair hearing. There are other shield also like privileges, both absolute and conditional.
Okay, I think we've established the fact that allegedly, using the word allegedly, is not a shield in the court of law.
It's not a shield in the court of law.
Victory, I genuinely want you to be as honest as possible, because I remember the last time I had you on this program, you were treading very carefully, which I understand. You're a lawyer as well. But of late, it seems like the court of law is almost not seeming like it's the last hope of the common man. There have been conversations around how competent our courts are, especially in this current dispensation. Do you think there's still hope for the common man in our Nigerian courts?
Individual judges differ. We have layers of courts in Nigeria. We have customary courts, we have magistrate courts, we have high courts, we have court of appeal, and then the final one, Supreme Court. I believe that these layers exist because some judges may not apply reasonableness or apply the law in deciding matters before them. And when you appeal, you have an option to have your matter redecided. So if you are not satisfied with a judge's ruling or a judgment, you have the right to appeal against that judgment. And by creation of those layers, I believe that there's still hope for the common man.
So
at least if a magistrate court rules otherwise, rules against the legal provision, white and black, there is high court. You can go to the high court, appeal against that decision. And if the high court still holds the same position, you can go to the Court of Appeal and thereafter the Supreme Court.
We're sadly out of time. But
and now we also have the social media that you can use to...
Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate your victory. And Robin Mind continues after this break. Stay with us.
Thank you.
Welcome back. This is Robin Minds. We've been having such a great time in the show. When we started off, we were talking about using the word allegedly, whether people use it to just avoid the law. Does the law actually protect you when you use the word allegedly? And the conclusion was that even if you use the word allegedly, you are not necessarily protected by the law if you outrightly defame somebody. Right now, let's talk about Nigeria's digital shift. As we all know, tech is the new oil money, like people would say. We've seen a rise in AI tools. We've seen a rise in a lot of apps, and I think this country has also, owned their space to a certain extent with a lot of indigenous tech founders, and a lot of people are now going into tech. We want to discuss what the future holds for Nigerians in the digital economy, and that's why we want to talk about where skills meet money, Nigeria's digital shift. To discuss this with me, I have the founder, Tech Workstations, Okpata Efungu. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
You look good.
Thank you.
Typically, when we see tech people, we think of them as billionaires. Is there a lot of money in tech? Because every single time I go on social media, I'm hearing a tech person say, "Oh, I made $10,000. I made $50,000." Is tech really that profitable?
Well, I think there's a lot of money in tech, to be honest, but the money can only get to you if you do things right. If it was that easy, everybody would be balling, you understand? So, but in tech, the moment you are offering value and you are solving real problem, I think the money will follow you. You don't even need to stress too much. The money will just follow you, yes.
So there has been a shift recently in terms of the career choices a lot of young people make. Back in my days, if you were not studying medicine, engineering, or law, it seemed like you didn't have a future in this country. But we're moving digitally now. A lot of people are going into coding. A lot of people are learning a lot of tech skills. However, there are some of us that are not privileged to have those qualifications in terms of knowing how to code. So for people like that might be watching, how can one get into tech without necessarily having the core technical knowledge?
Okay, first of all, me that I'm sitting here today, I don't know how to write a single line of code, and that's the truth. But I'm into tech, and I think I'm doing well. So in tech, there are a lot of aspects that someone can join. You can join as a product manager or a product designer or operations, or there is a whole lot of things that you can do in tech and you can make good money from it. And yes, you are correct, because I remember that growing up, that time when they asked you, what do you want to be in future? I think at that time, if you ask me, I would say, I want to be a pharmacist or I want to be a doctor. But, you know, as you grow and understand how the world works, you shift to where you think you can, you know, add value, or where you think you can survive. So yes, you don't need to know how to write code for you to be in tech. As far as, for instance, another example that I can give is, normally when we were growing up, photographers, you just see them in a shop and they will just write maybe gamer photography. And you just come there, you take picture. But now, photographers, they now shifted to creative director. And from there, they start offering services like maybe design, or, you know, the thing has shifted from the traditional way of what, is like that in almost every industry.
I like
Tech
that you mentioned that.
Yeah.
So how can
over.
people now use tech to upgrade their businesses?
I don't think there's any business in this world that tech cannot help you to do better inside. In fact, there is none. Even as a native doctor, for instance, now, I'm just trying to give a very weird example. There is one man on social media that is popular for being a native doctor, and every day you see him posting, oh, contact me. That is Instagram, for instance, giving me a platform, or social media giving me a platform. And what is social media? Social media is tech.
So you're saying that tech is even helping native doctors?
Well,
Are the gods
truth.
connected to Wi-Fi?
No, it's not about God being connected to Wi-Fi. It's the man himself advertising himself and putting himself out there. Do you understand? So that is tech helping him. Normally, it will be, you call the other person, the other say, go and meet the other man. Do you understand? But now you see people, they are proud and, you know, posting it on social media. So it's just in every industry, whatsoever it is. You see a barber, for instance, now, a barber will sign up on a platform where people book him through a platform, even if it's not social media, maybe an app, for instance, or whatever business it is. People just go there and, you know, put themselves out there.
Yeah. That leads me to my next question, and I think this really bothers me. In every field, ownership is so important. Now, the major tech giants are majorly American companies and, of course, recently Chinese companies. We have a lot of indigenous startups. but not a lot of them survive. I think we can only mention a few, maybe InterSwitch, the Flutter Waves, and then maybe in food, the Globals and the rest of them. And even at that, even our so-called indigenous startups have to be bought over by the big companies in order for them to either scale up or to sustain. Why is it that a lot of startups in this part of the world do not survive more than a year?
Okay, so if you are asking me about sustainability of Africans or businesses, I will have a lot to say. You might need to invite me over, but just to say a few. First of all, the way I see success or the concept of success in the world is that I look at it as there is a lot of dots scattered all over, and you need to connect them one by one. Then connecting them will take time. And when you have finished connecting them, and by connecting them, I mean you get in maybe an office space, hiring the right people, meeting the right people, doing the right partnership. As you are doing that, you are connecting the dots. And when you have finished connecting the dots, you need to keep it as a cycle, and you need to keep going. Do you understand? So as you are going, you will find out that there are little mistakes that you have made, and you are removing them small, just to keep going. So that is, first of all, how I see the concept of anything being successful. So when I now want to relate it to your question, first of all, being a Nigerian, or I don't want to say Africa because this is my place, being a Nigerian, life is already scoring you 1-0 because a lot of things that are our prayer points here are already answered abroad. For instance, you can be praying, oh, God, NEPA, please bring light now. But you won't be saying that type of prayer if you're abroad. So it's already challenging for you. So when you struggle and get past all those things, now, the next is now to keep your business running. As you keep your business running, you now see you now start putting your business out there before, like, you can start getting attention of the people abroad. And also, it's also important that while you are doing your business, it's good to shift to the new trends because things change.
So are you saying that a lot of new tech founders don't necessarily adapt to those changes, and that's why they cannot succeed?
I can give an example of some people that changed to the new trend and some people that didn't change. I can give you someone like Linda Ikeji, for instance, now. Growing up, she used to be the leader of the blogging industry, for instance. But social media came at some point where she was leading in that blogging industry and took over everything. But unfortunately, she was not quick enough to enter the social media space. And people like Instablog and maybe Tunde Not and Yaba Left and Gossip Mill just came in and took over. So if I'm just giving an example.
So you're saying Linda Ikeji did not evolve?
I think so, yes. So, but which other example can I give now? Okay,
but she's still on Instagram and she's having a lot of
Yes, but
views.
when you talk about blogging in Nigeria now, I don't think she has that thought leadership now anymore. But when I was much younger, in a day, if I don't read Linda Ikeji, I feel like something is missing in my body. But it's no longer like that to me. Do you understand what I mean? So, but the people that are really like on top of their game now are people like maybe Instablog and Today Not and core of them. And where is this happening? It's happening on social media. No longer on the traditional websites where you type www.something.com. Do you understand what I mean?
There's still a lot of people, reading on the websites.
I'm not saying that I just said what I said before, like, you understand what I mean? There was a time where she was really the top most visited in the country. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, I understand. Totally understand. Yeah. Now, another issue is we've heard stories of founders getting investments from foreign and bigger companies, and instead of investing it in their products, you see them buying houses, buying cars. There have been several cases like that. Do you think that greed is part of the reasons why some tech startups don't really go far?
Of course. Greed and lack of discipline. So, if you are a tech founder, for instance, and God helps you, and maybe you see an investor, and you use your money to go and carry women and enjoy yourself in the club, there is no way you will not suffer for it. In fact, another way that I see life is that one of the best things that anybody can do for themselves is building a life where people trust you. Do you understand what I mean? Where people trust you and where your integrity is, your integrity speaks for itself.
Right.
You understand? Because it circles back to you. Even some investors, before they invest, a lot of investors invest in people, not even the business.
Not even the business.
Yes. So they
Sally,
always
out
make.
of time.
Oh, sorry, I'm talking too much.
No. You are talking just right.
Okay.
And I really appreciate you for coming. And for the tech enthusiasts out there, just make sure that you keep believing and just do the right thing, and you'll definitely get there. Robbing Mind continues after this break. Stay with us. Welcome back to Robbing Minds. Now we want to move on to entertainment interview, and speaking with us on Robbing Minds today is Eedris Abdukareem, Nigeria's musical icon. He's very notorious for being fearless and speaking truth to power. Welcome, Eedris. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Good to see you. So let's take it back. Tell me, at what point did you discover that your path is to tell stories that sometimes could be risky via music? At what point did you discover that this was your path in life?
Okay, that was back in military school when I was training to be a very good sharpshooter, and at the same time training to be the best ping pong player. At that time, I was playing for Kano State as a table tennis player, and I started having dreams of a gold microphone swinging towards me all the time, most importantly, whenever I'm sleeping. And I was confused. I didn't know what it was all about. So I asked my mom about it, and she told me that God wanted to use my voice to speak for the voiceless. And I must take that, passionately. I must take that as a religion, and I must take it passionately because it doesn't normally fall by. And the challenges that I will face is that I should learn to be contented when I take this kind of job as serious as possible as my career. So it's been from a long time, and that dream has been directing me to my destination, and I'm not surprised where I am today. To God be the glory. My responsibility basically is to use music to add value to the lives of people. When I was playing ping pong, I didn't really know much about music, but I was invited to the Soldiers Club and I saw people rapping for the first time. And I was like, wow, this is interesting, But at that moment, I get to understand that they were actually miming on other people's songs. So I decided to start writing stories at a tender age to speak for the voiceless. So if I'm saying something that is wrong, it's my responsibility to talk about it through music, whether anybody likes it or not.
Interesting. I remember the Remedy days, the fun. Were you trying to, at that point in time, were you just having fun, or you were just trying to blow up? Because it was a big deal.
Yeah, at that moment, I was just trying to create an edge for myself, get to be in the industry, And when the time comes, when I'm doing my thing, then I will switch to my call and start doing what God has asked me to come to do in this world.
Do you sometimes regret the path that you've chosen, or the niche, the genre, if I would put it that way, that you've chosen? Do you think you might have been richer if you had chosen to just be very commercial with your music?
Now, Fela Anikulapo Kuti says that music is not just for Mary. Music is a tool to speak for people. Music is a tool to fight corruption. So I'm a student of Fela Anikulapo Kuti, and I was very, very happy that God actually led me to my call, and I love what I'm doing. I have no regrets at all.
Okay, we've seen the resurfacing of one of your very old songs, Nigeria. I'm sure you know the song I'm talking about. It has resurfaced on TikTok and on a lot of social media platforms. Why do you think that song has re-emerged? Why are people playing it again?
Are you talking about the new song or Nigeria Jaga Jaga?
Nigeria Jaga Jaga.
Well, Nigeria Jaga Jaga will continue to be the second national anthem, whether anybody likes it or not. To be sincere, I'm a passionate Nigerian. I love this country so much. Truth is bitter, and people don't want you to speak the truth. You know, I want to wake up one day. And find out that Nigeria Jaga Jaga, the song, is no more relevant. I'll be so happy. I always pray to wake up one day and find out the song is no more relevant. And for the song not to be relevant anymore, then we need to start seeing development. We need to start seeing constant electricity. We need to start seeing real leadership. We need to start seeing, security. We need to start seeing our leaders taking security as priority in protecting the lives and property of, our citizens. All these things are not there. So until developments come to Nigeria, that's when the song will not be relevant anymore. So I want to wake up in the morning and find out that the song is no more relevant. I mean, this is 24 years after, and the song is still relevant, sadly.
Now let's talk about your new song. It was tagged NTBB, not to be broadcasted, because it contravenes with certain sections of the Nigerian Broadcasting, Commission, the laws. However, there has been a lot of conversations around it, and one of those conversations is some people think that you took a direct swipe at a non-elected official. Is there a particular reason why you decided to take that route?
Okay, I was inspired by Seyi Tinubu, to record this song. I saw a video where he was campaigning for his father and he was defending his father, saying that my father is the best president, my father is the greatest president. They are coming for my father, they are coming for my father. My father is the greatest president, my father is the greatest president. He repeated it like 5 times or 7, but Seyi, I differ, because you look more perfect, when you are silent than when you speak, I would advise, Seyi to hand over the microphone to the MC next time. I mean, he lacks the charisma and purpose to express himself, telling the truth about, the true economic situation of Nigeria at the moment under his father's government. Tinubu is the best father to Seyi Tinubu, but he's the worst president to Nigeria. You know what I mean? He has empowered Seyi Tinubu as a son, but Nigerian youth don't have jobs, talk less of food to eat. The Nigerian youth can travel by road, because of kidnapping, So I asked Seyi Tinubu to travel by road, without insecurity, let him feel the pains, of ordinary citizens, Nigerian youth are just asking for basics, electricity, security, enabling economic policy, job creation, not palliatives. I mean palliatives, So So I keep hearing people saying that why should I attack Sheyi Tinubu personally? If Sheyi Tinubu came to be part of politics, he talks about his father. He was defending his father. If he never talked about it, I wouldn't have recorded a song like that. So I am answering him, by replying him with that video that he made. So if Sheyi had kept quiet, I wouldn't have said anything directly to him. So that's it, my brother. So I'm inspired by Sheyi Tinubu to record that song. Tinubu lied about fuel subsidy, lied about economic recovery, lied about fixing the naira, lied about a lot of things, So it's a saddened situation. And it's my responsibility to say it the way it is. If you listen to the song, there's nowhere you hear any insult. It's just basic fact of everything that his father has done through his policy.
So you're saying that you did not directly insult Sheyi Tinubu in any way or form?
Tell me where you see it? Tell me where the insult is in the song.
No, I'm just asking because some people are saying that there's a direct attack on a non-elected individual.
Of course, because when I speak truth to you, you will see it as insult. Yeah. Truth is bitter. So when I speak the truth, you see that insult.
All right. Now, let's talk about the banning of the song. It seems like this is not the first time it's happening to you. This is the second time. Do you think it has made the song more popular?
I mean, why would you ban a song that has no insult in it, that has just pinpointed the ills in the society, that has just talked about, the bad policy of the president, the bad policy under President Tinubu government? Let me tell you a few things. I'm going to list very important failures of this government to you, just few. One, increase in petroleum price. Tinubu increased the price of petroleum by 300% after announcing the withdrawal of subsidy. Two, inflation. Prices of goods keep increasing. CBN keep raising interest rates to combat inflation, but they keep failing, to tackle it. Three, hunger. The level of hunger, has skyrocketed. Broken a record. The promises, it's a saddened situation. Using palliative to address the situation is not a solution. Four, reduction of purchasing power. The high inflation has affected purchasing power of Nigerians. People can't even buy anything. Salary is 70,000 naira, and that salary is not enough for you to pay for electricity in 1 month. Don't forget they've increased electricity tariffs, and we still don't have light. 5, insecurity. Terrorists are kidnapping Nigerians, hundreds of Nigerians in a single operations. Farmers can't go back to farm anymore. And the government is busy bringing in GMOs, genetic modified organisms, to eradicate Nigerians. You and I know it's not healthy. Instead of you sending your security agent to go into the forest to, clear these terrorists. 6, increase in transportation. The high cost of petroleum automatically affected, transportation. 7, devaluation of naira. The devaluation of naira has brought in many disadvantages for a country, that relies, on imports. 8, poverty and reduction in wealth. Many people have been thrown into poverty, in just 2 years. The wealth of others have been reduced because of devaluation of naira under this government.
Yeah.
9, high cost. I think continue. You too plenty, my brother. So why won't I reply Sheyi Tinubu after he came out to say that his father was the best president? No. So sorry, your father isn't the best president. People are dying. People are crying. People are jumping into lagoon. So Sheyi, my message to you is tell your daddy, tell your father that this is the reality of Nigerians. Nigerians are dying. You've never witnessed poverty in your life before. You travel with private jet all the time. You know what I mean? So please tell your dad. And if you want to know how truly this is, go out without your security. Go to, what's it called? Yaba. Board a bus that is going to Benin and follow through the Ore Road and feel the pains of Nigeria. You know
All
what
right,
I mean?
Eedris.
So,
Yes, there have also been unconfirmed reports that you were offered about 200 million to sort of silence this particular song. How true are these unconfirmed reports online?
okay, so I've been through this road before. I know how they play their tricks, you know. So 2 days ago, I received a call while I was in the car, you know, driving home, and the person was like, "Hello, I'm Honorable." He called his name so quickly, and I asked him, "You said Honorable what?" And he didn't answer me, and he continued his conversation immediately, saying that I was in a meeting last week where the government of Tinubu were saying that they were going to reach out to you. Please, when they call you, don't take the money. Don't take the money. We are going to be supporting you on the ground. We are going to give you 200 million. Look at this guy. You look at me like a child. You won't put word for my mouth. Make up on the talk, say, okay, really? Oh, I'm interested. Who are you? So then later on, you play my audio conversation out for people to say, look at the person that is fighting corruption. My brother, I've lived my life 3 decades. If I wanted to be a billionaire, I would be praising these people. You know what I mean? So I am not interested in that. My responsibility is to have a better Nigeria. Have a better Nigeria in the areas of when we will have strong presidents who will wake up in the morning and say, you know what? Let's change this constitution back to regional government, where everybody will go back to where they belong to and make use of their resources to do what? To create wealth for their people. Then take whatever you need to take center, instead of everybody going to center to come and grab whatever it is that is called national cake. Okay, Secondly, remove all these judiciary criminals, whether you like it or not. They are criminals because the poor people, last hope should be the judiciary. Unfortunately, the judiciary is cash and carry. So, my brother, there is problem. There's problem in the land. People are dying. People are killing themselves. People are committing suicide. So the best person who gave me the opportunity to be able to record this song and inspire this song is Sheikh Tinubu, because he came out to defend his father. So I need to send the message back to him to go and tell his father that, listen, there's problem. People are dying. There's hunger in the land. There's corruption in the land. The government has been borrowing too much money. What are you doing with all the monies? We don't know. Allegedly, we're hearing different stories that is going up and down. Is it the Natasha story you want to talk about? Or the state of emergency in Rivers State? For goodness sake, there are kidnappers in Castinas, killing people, kidnapping people in Kebbi State, every Kaduna State, all part of Northeast. There is no state of emergency. Why state of emergency? Why removing a elected governor? It is obvious you guys are interested in Rivers State and you want to grab it for yourself. So, my brother, there is problem. I don't know how to say to be diplomatic about the truth. I'll tell you to your face whether you like it or not. I have a problem with that.
All right, Eedris, you speak with so much passion, and of course, you've mentioned certain issues that is very, very clear to the common man and is very, very clear to the everyday Nigerians. However, I also want to get very personal with you. Has there been any points in your life where you decided to say, you know what, since nothing has necessarily changed since over 25 years I've been singing about the state of the country and not much has changed. Have there been any pressure on you by family or friends to sort of change your path so that perhaps maybe you could make more money? Has this path been profitable to you, and has there been sort of societal and family pressure for you to sort of change who you are?
Do I need to change the truth? Do I need to start lying to be able to make money? My brother, wake up from your sleep. I don't need that. As far as I'm speaking the truth, and I have a little bit that I'm doing that it's giving me money to take care of my family, I am contented. I don't need to sing praise anybody to be able to be successful in billions to take care of my family. I am satisfied and I'm contented. My wife and I are doing great with my children. I'm paying my children's school fees with a little business. Do you know that I have a farm in Jos, Plateau State, where I produce moringa and strawberry. But we can't go to Jos anymore because terrorists have taken over about 58 local governments. All these things are happening. Zulu Mabi, what is his name? The governor of Borno State is coming out. He's all over the news saying that, listen, man, these terrorists are gaining more territory in the northeast. They're all over our forest. Do we have to keep quiet? So I should keep quiet about that and start praising people just because I want to make money. Keep your money to yourself. Listen,
so what would you now?
I travel every, hold on, please.
Yeah.
I travel every year to human rights projects. And whatever it is that I get from my human rights projects, from every part of the university that I go to do my fellowship, is enough for me to take care of myself and my family. I don't need to sing praise anybody and lie about the reality on ground just to survive. Keep your money to yourself.
All right, we have to go now, but very quickly, in 60 seconds, what would you have to say to other people with voices, celebrities, influencers? Just 60 seconds, what would you have to say to them, for those that have been supposedly quiet?
Continue to be happy slaves and continue to launder money for this government and other government that comes. That's why you can never speak the truth. God bless Nigeria and may Nigeria for peace.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for coming on Rubbing Minds. And yes, that was the interview with Eedris Abdukareem. It's been such a very different show today, and I'm hoping that you've learned one or two things. My name is Hero Daniels, and this has been Rubbing Minds. Goodbye.